Flappers, as you can see today, we're going to be talking about Itto. This is going to be as most likely as critical as I can get when coming to evaluating this character without actually getting my hands on the character and testing him out. And why is this important? It's because I have been advocating for a lot of Itto hype. I know I'm responsible for getting a lot of people excited, especially in my community, but at the same time, I also feel responsibility not to overdrive that hype. Sometimes, to stay genuine to my emotions, I have to let out my excitement as somebody who can drop hundreds of dollars on this game every single month. I don't really consider the possibility of a character being, underwhelming in comparison to his visual form or his demo hype, right? So as yesterday, we've all gotten really excited on my live stream. We gave away an Itto and we're gonna give away another Itto during the 2.4 patch live stream. So if you do end up loving this character and you want a free copy of him, do stop by my channel on the patch 2.4 live stream where we'll be watching with probably a couple thousand people here right on YouTube. All right. So with that said, let's go into Itto. Some of the things that we definitely should be looking out for and some things that I think currently positions Itto in a very good spot. Let's start with the positives. Itto currently is a much needed character that fills the slot of a 5-star Geo main DPS. This is going to be great as currently we have Zhongli, but he is not a Geo main DPS. When Zhongli is played in the main DPS position, most of his damage comes out as physical damage. And of course, in the 4-star category, we have Noelle, we have Ningguang, which are both great carries in their own respective rights, but they're not 5-star and they're not meta defining by any standard. While Ningguang is definitely a respectable main DPS, I do feel like that Itto, as he does get released, should be able to overshadow Ningguang, especially in some of the lower constellations. Now, going forward with Itto, I have been saying that his mono Geo teams are going to be what sets him apart from some of the previous carries that we've gotten. So far, there has not been a single carry that's been released that is advised or that can be meta defining while played in the exact same element. Like, you could argue that Zhao could be played in a quadruple Anemo team, but at the end of the day, how many people realistically does that with Zhao, right? But it seems like Itto will have almost no problem whatsoever playing in a mono Geo team, and that's the thing I've been talking about for weeks now, and I've seen some other people touch on this as well. Now, here's the thing, right? People might think that when I say this, I mean Itto can only play in a mono Geo team. That is definitely not true and far from the truth. I've never said that once. Please understand, I'm saying this character likely is the strongest when paired with at least one more Geo, if not 2 more Geos. And well, why don't you just go all the way to 4 Geos at that point? But you're right, you could do 2 Geos and you can pair the other 2 slots with whatever your team desires. And currently, I do think funneling strategies are going to be great for Itto. So Albedo, your Xingqius, your Raidens, just find ways to source power back into Itto to allow him to deal the damage while other characters remain off field. The good thing about Geo characters in general is that their base stats are usually higher than your regular characters, and it's always to compensate for the lack of strong reactions. Crystallized by no means is an offensive reaction. At times, people use it as a byproduct. Nobody really built their team strictly around the crystallized reaction. It's always just there because people have a Geo character in their team. Case in point being Zhongli being in teams using his hold E, which summons a pillar, which then pulsates and resonates, then creates crystallize, and sometimes that's actually a nuisance as it can ruin certain reaction combos. So crystallize definitely in the case of Itto is not going to be something revolutionary. You're not going to be like, wow, I can finally make use of my crystallized reactions. No, it's just going to be there. And utilizing Geo's strong scaling, we're going to be able to pair Itto with more than just Geo characters. Like I was saying, multitude of support characters can open up. However, some characters just won't work with them too well. So for example, a character like Bennett, right? Well, yes, Bennett can still certainly work with Itto. I'm not saying, oh, Bennett's useless now. Itto still does attack, and he does have some level of attack scaling. Of course, that's no problem. But when someone like Goro is on the table and available for you to utilize with Itto, especially being on the same banner. This is going to put Itto teams in a very interesting spot. There might be different tiers of Itto teams where you can run, and judging by how strong his personal scaling is going to be, Itto may not even need Goro. Now, of course, that's a bold statement, but depending on how many constellations you're going for, whether you're going for his weapons, sure, getting Goro would be nice, but if you have Zhongli, there's some resistance shred, and then you can pair him with Bennett and, throw a Xingqiu in there. Who knows? Maybe he can function great. Now, this is all speculation. I'd want to believe that miHoYo would leave certain play styles or options available for players to experiment with, even if they don't have high constellation Goro. There's no way that miHoYo is just gonna seal it off and be like, without Goro, this character just cannot be competitive, because that would just be ludicrous. It's so stupid for them to do that, right? Why would you seal off an entire 5-star character's potential behind a 4-star? Right. While yes, I think Goro is going to be necessary to bring Itto to his full potential, but when we say full potential, that doesn't necessarily mean that's what is required to clear the game, right? I do think Itto by himself at C0 with a 5-star Claymore or a great 4-star Claymore with a couple refinements should be able to clap through Abyss 12 with relative ease, as long as you know what you're doing and you build the right team. All right, so that's gonna be it for the Itto pros. Now, here is something that I really want to drive home for you guys. We're gonna be talking about a couple Itto cons that I've been really worried about. The first one is actually something we've been talking about, is his reliance to a character like Goro, a supportive unit. Now, it's not about his reliance, it's really about how much. How much does Geo require strong supports to function normally, right? Because we've all known that Geo Resonance has gotten a rework earlier in the year, like I think it was February or something like that. It's now amazing. It's phenomenal. And in fact, I think that a lot of Geo characters most likely lean into Geo Resonance to deal great damage, and a great case in point being Ningguang, right? You're building a Ningguang team, you run 2 Geos, you run 2 Pyros. Ningguang scales superb through the 2 Pyro, 2 Geo. It is phenomenal, right? But currently, Itto does not have an option like that. Yes, you could run double Pyro, double Geo. It's still going to be great for Itto, but the problem here is that his scaling goes into defense, you see. Now, Goro is a character who can facilitate that need, right? He fills that hole, and my concern now is that Goro is filling too many holes by himself. Many holes that needs to be filled if you want to enjoy Itto to his full potential. Now, I have nothing against strong support characters. Don't get me wrong, people. I love Bennett, I love Xingqiu, I love Zhongli. Yes, I'm a huge simp for all of these characters and I run them in a lot of my teams, but there comes a point where it's like, hey, maybe I should be dropping some extra dollar not on Itto constellations, but on Goro constellations, because it's the right investment to do. It's likely going to be cheaper to get Goro to C4 as opposed to Itto to C4. I know that's debatable, but I'm going to be able to bring Goro into more Geo teams. He's going to be able to facilitate more Geo playstyles than Itto will. I should be getting more out of my investments from a 4-star character, and I think this is by design. So now my question is, since miHoYo is now essentially pushing for mono Geo teams, let's face it, they're trying to persuade us into giving up these strong reaction teams and play a mono elemental team with Goro buffing Itto with more supports and layering of damage, of course with Albedo, Zhongli, all the whatnots. But please, I don't want this to become a reliance of a geocentric support. And going forward, if we set this precedence, is miHoYo going to come out with a Nemo-centric support, a Pyro-centric support? Oh wait, that's Bennett, a Hydro-centric support that can buff Hydro damage, that can heal as well. It's scary stuff to think about, and I'm all for progression, I'm all for change, but I don't think this will be the right direction. I want Itto to stay strong by himself and Goro as like the cherry on top, right? The icing on top, the dessert. Goro should not be the mashed potato to Itto's steak, because argue all you want, without mashed potato, my steaks just don't taste the same. I want Itto to be the full main course and Goro to be the dessert. I need them to be separate. I want them to be separate, and I think most people should prefer them to be separate. And of course, put them together, still you get a nice full course meal, but you don't need the cheesecake at the end of your 3-course meal. All right, that's all I'm saying. Hope you guys can stay excited. I'm very excited. I'm definitely pulling for Itto. We'll see, okay? This is the thing. We'll see when he comes out and we'll do it. Stay excited, people. And don't let this discourage you from wanting Itto. I'm just posing some of the questions, concerns that I've been thinking about. And you're free to post your concerns, questions down in the comments below. Make sure to give the video a like, subscribe, trying to hit 50K before the end of the year. And if you watched until this very last point, comment down Kitty. Kitty. Or Kittie. However you want it. Kitty. Alright? So, see you guys next time. Till then, stay safe and peace. Bye.